Hopefully it's recording. Hopefully I took the autofocus thing off. It had this tracker thing that it came with, and it kept, I don't know, focusing on random things. Whatever. Anyway, hi. I'm recording a video from the park because there's currently 12 billion people in my house. Okay, that was obviously hyperbole. It's not like we're housing Syrian refugees, although I'd be totally fine if yeah, whatever. Great way to start the video. Kind of out of breath. Did I bring water? Oh, I'm probably really old. It's been the first time in a while I've ridden my bike anywhere because I've been feeling pretty not so great for a couple of reasons. One is simply that the weather is whack. It can't decide if it wants to be boiling hot or frigid cold, and this spiraling back and forth of the weather has been kind of throwing my immune system into whack. I've been dealing with colds off and on, and the other big reason, and the main reason, or the main excuse, if you want to call it that I haven't been making videos lately is, in case you hadn't heard, apparently I'm pregnant. Kind of by accident. I mean, I was on the pill, but it's not like, oh my god, what do we do now? I mean, we're married, we have a house, you know, we both have relatively steady jobs. We can make it. It just was a little ahead of schedule. And I'm not upset about it. I love kids. I have always loved kids. I've always wanted my own, although it's still kind of hard to picture myself creating another human life. I know that's what every pregnant person says. They're like, I can't believe, blah, blah, blah. But it's still pretty unreal. And definitely there are some pregnancies out there that are way worse than what I've been going through, but it's been fairly rough on me. I've been having, I think I'm 3 months in now. I'm going to my first prenatal exam this Friday, so hopefully they'll be able to, you know, tell how it's going, tell me if all is going well, or if I'm, you know, down the road to a less than healthy child. Hopefully not. Due date and everything like that. But anyway, I've been just really having a hell of a lot of nausea pretty much all day. Morning sickness is a misnomer. It's usually all day for most women, like 90% of women, I think, is some website said. But anyway, so it's finally evening off a little bit. I still am not super awesome, feeling super awesome, but dog, you're like right in front of me in the camera. But yeah, so that's been a thing that's really been kind of keeping me from wanting to do anything. The nausea, the fatigue, you know, the working all the time, still having to work everything. We did just have a 4-day weekend. It was like the first vacation really I've had in a very long time, and I had all these big plans, like I always do, of making videos, of completely overdoing the house, everything like that, you know, redoing the house. And I did do a fair amount of like yard work and stuff, because the people that lived with us before, you know, as I said in my 3-part, you know, this is the house we moved into video, they left a lot of like really overgrown palm trees and crap like that, and we've been trying to like cut, you know, we can't get rid of the trees yet, we don't have the money to hire people to come and get them, but we've been trying to cut off the leaves and all the scraping. Palm trees are like the most useless tree. They don't give that much shade, they don't produce fruit, they, you know, they take over everything, they drop crap everywhere. Like palm trees, maybe it's because I'm born and raised in California, so I've always seen palm trees around, but I feel like they are such, why would anyone want to plant palm trees in their house? Anyway, so, but I didn't really make any new videos because I didn't feel like it. I really didn't. I just kind of wanted to relax a little bit. I ended up getting Fallout 4 on PS4. Probably shouldn't have spent the money, but whatever. Everybody else was playing it. I was like, I want to play. So I've been playing that off and on, and I will, or I'm saying I'll eventually do a video, like a review of it. I've been enjoying it fairly much so far. It's not really that different from Fallout 3 in a lot of ways that I've found. As far as the settlement building, It's fun. Unfortunately, it's been pretty buggy for me on PS4, and I've had to do a lot of game reloads to get some of the basic things working. It's a nice beginning to a sort of god building, city building, whatever kind of mechanic. But since I like games like that anyway, and I've played a lot of games that do that kind of thing, to me Fallout 4 is just sort of like the Candy Crush version of doing that, like the kindergartner's version of building cities. So it's kind of, for me, I think it's kind of good. It's like an intro to people that don't really play games like that normally, to be like, hey, this is pretty fun, maybe I should try some other games. And hopefully with as popular as it's been, maybe they'll inspire some more city building games, more recent ones, because I mean, a lot of the ones that I really liked are pretty old. I mean, like Black and White and Black and White 2 were pretty fun city building, and you know, it's like everyone else is like, oh, it's the animal or whatever. For me, it was building the town. But anyway, so I've been playing Fallout 4. Been playing Ark off and on. I'm getting a little worn out on Ark. We didn't go out for Black Friday, but we did go online on Newegg, and we found a pretty good deal for it's a pre-built desktop, but the parts are actually pretty good. I sent the specs over to some of my computer geeky friends, and I said, you know, for the price, is this a decent buy? And he was a little like, well, you know, this would be better and this would be better. I'm like, okay, but I can't spend $10,000 on a computer. So without, you know, ending up on the street, is this a good buy? And he's like, oh yeah, I guess. So it's actually supposed to get here today. I don't have the specs in front of me. If you're really curious, I can write it down in the description whenever I upload this. I'm just on my lunch hour. But yeah, so hopefully with the new computer I'll be able to play Ark with a better frame rate, and that might help. I tried a little bit of playing on the over servers or whatever, and to be honest, I don't really enjoy it as much. I think I may have mentioned this in previous videos, but the big thing I don't like about it is that all these worlds are so pre-established already, and it really ruins the the survival feeling for me to go to a world and all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, but as soon as I load the world, there's just huge bases everywhere with, like, you know, all these tamed T-Rexes just lined up, and I'm just like, well, there goes all of my immersion. So I've pretty much just been playing on the server that Kaiser, my husband, started on his computer. It's been pretty fun. Yesterday was kind of funny. We played for about 3 hours. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And he got all excited because we built rafts, and we had the rafts, ability to make the rafts a while ago, but we hadn't really made them, and we made them, and it was like, oh wow, we can go around the whole island. Of course, we found out as we were going it was pretty slow, and I had tamed a whole bunch of megalodons and ichthyes, and so we had this huge pod of them following us, but the combat mechanics for the underwater creatures is still kind of and I ended up losing all but one of the megalodons and almost all the ichthyes. And can you seriously stop blocking the camera with your giant head, dog? Speaking of the dog, I'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, it was fun, but at the same time it was frustrating because I brought along a trike. I tried to keep him on the raft, and there was a lot of like confusion trying to get everyone but the trike to follow me, because the trike kept coming off the raft, and then I would have to swim, you know, I have to take the raft to land and then get the trike onto land to get back onto the raft, because we went to Dead Island, which I think must be named for the game. I looked up a map and it said the names of the areas. I don't know where they got the names from, but it's all the way up in the top, the northeast corner, and so called Dead Island because everything on that island wants to kill you. I tamed a scorpion, and then I was taming a raptor, and then as I was taming the raptor, a T-Rex came and ate the raptor, started trying to eat us. We got away. I went back, I got the scorpion, we started going away, and then as we were going away, a Sarco, one of the giant crocodiles, jumped on and killed my scorpion. So that was an exercise in futility. But anyway, so yeah, we'll try Ark again when I have a better frame rate. But we'll see. I think I'm going to take a break from it for a little while, just because, unlike Kaiser, I get burnt out on games. I don't like playing the same game day in, day out. I usually play really intensely for a couple days, and then I don't touch it for a while. Then I might go back, or I might not. Whatever. Especially for constantly developing indie games, I have a much higher chance of going back because I want to see what's different. But yeah, so that's what's been going on for gaming pretty much. Fenris, this one. So I knew, you know, when you get a puppy, when you get any animal, but especially a young animal, from a shelter or whatever, you're going to have your hands full training them. And he's been pretty good about being able to train him and everything. He's a lab shepherd with a bit of schnauzer, and Kaiser and I were like, what does that make him? I say leopard, he says shab. He's like, not too shabby, like, whatever. It's nothing, memorable like Labradoodle. But he's about 8 months old now, and he has hit his terrible twos. He's being pretty good at this particular second, but all of a sudden, all my ability to get him to listen, to get him to not jump on people and everything seems to go out the window. He doesn't listen. He pees everywhere. He chews on things. He chases the cats. Really, the jumping on people is the most annoying thing. Because he jumps on people. He doesn't jump on us. He only jumps on other people, and we're like trying to pull him off. But the other people are always like, oh, it's okay. And it's like, no, it's really not. We're really trying to train him not to jump on people, but the people he's jumping on also need to be in on that game. They need to be like, no, down, Otherwise, he just ignores me and jumps on them. So that's kind of annoying. He also has major separation anxiety. I'm trying to put the money together to obedience classes, which I didn't think I was going to need because he's doing so well. But all of a sudden, he really needs separation anxiety training because he rips the house apart whenever I leave. Me specifically. Like, if other people are home, he still freaks out. So he's obsessed with me. I guess I should be honored. But yeah, the biggest thing that has kind of been taking over, besides being pregnant, obviously, which surprisingly doesn't change that much, except that I feel shitty a lot, is Kaiser's mother and her whole situation. So she has muscular dystrophy, or I think that's what it is. She has some kind of disease where she is rapidly losing the ability to walk. She's not in a wheelchair yet, but she can't run or anything like that. And so she lives with us. She lived with Kaiser. Now that I live with, now that we're married and I live with him, she lives with us in the house. And when we bought the house, all the houses we looked at, she had to have her okay on. She had to be like, if there was no stairs, no. If it didn't have a pool, no. Even though we have a pool. And she would veto all these houses. So we finally got this house that, it's not the best, but for what we could afford and what we could potentially turn it into, I think it's not a terrible choice. But we kind of need her to keep paying her share of rent to be able to make the mortgage payments without, being completely destitute. And all of a sudden, about a couple weeks ago, she gets off the phone and announces, I'm moving to Hawaii with my brother and Sarah, Kaiser's sister. I guess I should be using fake names, but whatever. Sarah's coming with us. And I'm like, huh. And I got used to the idea. She and I, when I first started dating him and when I first moved in, we really did not get along, but we kind of worked it out. I'm not going to shit talk her. I'm just going to say we're very different personalities, different people. But we worked it out. But I was kind of thinking, usually someone finds out that, what does that sound? It's like a loud rumbling. Usually someone finds out they're going to be a grandparent, you think they want to move closer to the person having a kid, not further away, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And then a couple days ago, she says, change of plans, I'm staying here, and my brother's moving in. And I'm like, now it's a 4-bedroom house, we can make it work. We have our bedroom, our master bedroom, the office, her room, and then the spare room, which I was trying to turn into a guest bedroom with. That's fine. The thing is that, he's been here a day, and I haven't really talked to him that much. I haven't really got to form an opinion of him. And I mean, he doesn't seem unkind or anything like that. But I was born and raised, I don't have any siblings. My parents are not exceptionally loud people. Even though we're nudists and everything like that, we tend to, be respectful of each other's privacy to some degree. And, I always had my own room. Maybe my dad might walk into the room at any second, but at least I had my own room. And Kaiser, on the other hand, has been, he's always lived in houses where, he always had friends coming over constantly, staying there for weeks on end sometimes. The whole time he was in the Navy, he would rent houses with 5 or 6 other people. And so he's used to having lots of people around. And this whole time that I've been with him, it's just been him, his mother and I. And for him, it's actually been a lot calmer. For me, it's been about what I'm used to. And so the thing that I'm kind of anxious about, I do like having some, some privacy. I do like having some time to myself. I like having my own space. One of the things I was really excited about with the house that we moved into, and if you want to know what the house looks like, go look at my past videos. I did a tour. Is that it has 2 living rooms, and we gave one of the living rooms to the mother. We really have to put up some sound dampening stuff because everything echoes like crazy. But then there's a second living room, and it's big enough that we have like the gaming area or whatever, but then I also have all my art stuff so that I can be like doing my art stuff while I'm watching TV. And I know I keep saying this and not doing it, but I really do want to start doing videos of where I'm doing my art stuff, tutorials, or just like this is how I do it, whatever. And now I'm like, well, if they're both going to be home, they're both going to be watching TV all day, they're both going to be like talking really loudly, which seems to be a Kaiser family trait, it's going to be really hard to feel comfortable, being in the corner trying to film a video. And I mean, even when we lived in the apartment, I would clash heads a lot because the sister would come over and the mom and the sister would be in the living room talking full volume, and I'd be in the bedroom trying to film a video, and I'm like, guys, I'm really not trying to be a bitch, but can you please talk a little quieter? And they would just be like, fine. And I'm being a little dramatic, but it caused a lot of friction. It caused a lot of friction that, for me, for my purposes of making videos, I had to ask them to step outside of their loud discomfort zone and be not so loud for a little bit. And I was hoping that, by buying a house and having rooms or whatever, that it wouldn't be such a problem. But if we're gonna have all these people living with us and, the baby and everything like that, I think pretty much my chances of the kind of filmmaking environment that I was anticipating kind of went out the window. But I don't know, I'll try to get used to it. It's been a little rough because just as I was starting to even out my moods with Prozac, I got pregnant and now I can't take Prozac anymore. But I have been taking a lot of vitamin supplements and everything, including one called choline inositol, I think it is, that my psychiatrist recommended and said that it's studies have shown it's just as good as Prozac, but it's supposed to be safe for pregnancies. And I've been taking that, so I haven't really had any crazy mood swings, but I definitely haven't been having a lot of highs. I've been pretty meh the whole time, and how much of that is just fatigue, nausea, and how much of that is my own chemical makeup. But so yeah, I guess I wanted to do an update video, even though no one watches these, even though I always say that, to reassure you that I am alive. I do think about making videos a lot. I do have ideas a lot. I just keep having this disconnect between having the idea, having time to make them, and having the environment that I feel is conducive to making them. But if he does move in, he's just visiting right now, the uncle. He's going back to his home in a couple days, and then we would have until like January, maybe mid-January, that he would move in. So that at least gives me some time to, adjust to the idea and hopefully, mentally prepare myself to have that many people. Like a lot of people are probably like, what, 4 people living in a house? That's like nobody. But to me, that's a lot of people. 4, soon to be 5 people. And they're loud people. That's the thing. They're not like quiet in their corner. They're loud and everywhere in the house, making all this racket, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm trying to make a video. Please, do you have to do the dishes right now? As Clayton Zeustang can comment on. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. When the computer does come, I'll try to do a video, an unboxing video or what. I don't even care. It's not that big of a deal. It's just sort of it's a better computer than what I have now, and jury will have to see if I can continue to soup it up bit by bit to make it into a impressive computer. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really noisy in here. My lunch break is probably over. I gotta get back to work. Thanks for watching. My butt is wet because the ground is cold, and the family moved further down there, probably because they heard me complaining about people talking loudly. YouTube's been around for so long, and yet people still look at you weird if you make videos in the park, probably because this is a poor area where I bet half these people don't have internet. Ooh, there's there's a politically incorrect statement to end this video with. Bye!